Now, on a previous video, I talked about believing in evolution, or that you were created for a purpose versus being created for a purpose. And I wanted to clarify something that I think a lot of people neglect to think about. I believe in de-evolution. I believe where a higher form of life de-evolves into a lesser form of life, and I believe it's also biblical, where God made the serpent, to crawl on his belly, basically took away his legs, and people think it became a snake. And Darwin even, kitty, don't shake my table. Darwin even got his theories when he was on one of those islands, and birds that he recognized, he was able to categorize, I forgot what they were, had lost their ability to fly. Now, who is going to tell me that the losing of ability to fly is a move in a positive evolutionary manner? Darwin was documenting de-evolution, and those birds got all wiped out when some woman moved onto that island with a cat, and the cat ate all of them. They couldn't fly away from it. Now, who thinks that was a good evolutionary move? That genetically speaking, that their genes selected the best ones for survival. It was a learned trait, I believe. I think all of those birds, sadly, probably could have flown if the parents had made nests up high, and and the babies learned how to fly, but they didn't need to. They got lazy and de-evolved. And I think humans are doing that to a large degree. I think people, if they would take a look at the skeletal structures of the Vikings that inbred when they were stuck, I think it was Greenland, when they first got there, and they got stuck there for a few generations and basically died out through inbreeding. If they would look at the similarities of that skeletal structure and what was classified as Neanderthal man, you might be surprised and wonder if Neanderthal man wasn't just a group of humans that inbred in that area. And there's a lot of things, when someone points to dogs and saying, oh, that proves evolution, you can look at dogs and see how they've evolved from whatever was out in the wild to all these different breeds. Okay, there is a vast difference between evolving and selective breeding, which that's what having breeds of different cats, horses, dogs, whatever, and you selectively breed them for a certain trait. But if you let dogs loose and they just go in the heat and mate and make babies, they all end up medium-sized and brown. And each one of those dogs has the genes of all of its predecessors, whether they were Doberman Pinschers or Chihuahuas. And they got the coloring that later on someone could take those dogs and breed, and when they get a special mix, and they can target that breeding program toward that, whatever those traits are. That is not evolution. That happens under management. The same with plants. They're not going to cross-pollinate with something that's on another continent without the help of some animal, whether that's human or not. And going back to humans, I believe we have de-evolved. I believe the lowering of standards, that we're de-evolving for the larger part. Especially here in America. I don't know I can't speak of other countries. I can only speak of where I am and what I'm experiencing. And the whole, what's being done to not only our diet here, but our culture, our thinking, has so degraded. And I use that word in all its form. It's so degraded that there's nowhere for us to go up in the system. We can only go down. We can only get worse. We can only degenerate. And I think it's becoming very prevalent. We're seeing that all over the place. A comment from a friend, she was wanting to move to South America because of the radiation and Fukushima and all this other stuff, and I pointed out that I was scared of the violence down there. And she said that, well, it's just as bad here on, Black Friday. People die trying to buy stupid stuff. But there's a vast world of difference between stupidity and someone that's going to kill you for nothing more than the clothes on your back, or because they can. And there's no authority. There's nothing to protect you from that. And I believe that societies down there, for the most part, has de-evolved to that. I feel bad about the Mexicans coming here illegally, what they have to go through, and what NAFTA did to their country, to the South American countries, especially Mexico, how it ruined the small farmers down there, that they've all been run out. They've got nothing to do. They got nowhere to go but up here. And it's just a sad societal de-evolution and slavery that we've, that's what it is. When you come here as an undocumented worker, you are a slave to whoever is going to pay you. And they're going to pay you whatever they want to pay you, and you're going to have to live quietly, or they can, get you put away. And it's much, much worse on women. So everything, I believe we're designed with a purpose in mind. I believe a lot of people don't believe that, and their lives show that. I think my life shows that I believe in something better, something more than what I am. Not that I'm better than somebody else, but because I grasp that, I value myself. They may be self-centered and selfish people, more so than I am, but what I'm saying about being better is not in that kind of way. But because I feel I have a destiny, I have a purpose, I have goals, obtainable goals I've set for myself, I am doing better in my life and more content and happier than people that don't have that are just plugging along, that are just going from day to day. And I just wanted to address that about evolution, and that we are not. We were designed with specific purposes. Cats were designed with a specific purpose. I've always wondered, why do cats purr? They have no need to purr as a cat out in the wild. It has everything to do with humans. Oh, well, then maybe those that purred, humans liked better and kept them, and they bred out the ones that didn't purr. Maybe it is selective breeding on that. Dogs. Why are dogs so loyal? Why are they bred to be loyal? That's in them. That is just in them genetically. I think every dog has that to some degree. Humans. We have the ability to do so much, and yet most people spend their time and energy hurting other people and hurting themselves ultimately. And I find that very sad. We make the wrong choices. We choose to give priority to people who wouldn't spit on us if we weren't on fire. And we choose the wrong people to prioritize in our lives when we have people that do care about us. Anyway, sorry about ranting like this. It just kind of broke my heart listening to the thing about beta males and alpha males and women, and I just totally reject it. Yes, there's exceptions to every rules, and I think the bad people are a very small minority. But sadly, I think the majority of people are just plugging along. They haven't decided that they're destined for something. And everyone thinks when you're destined for something that you're going to be a rock star or a Nobel Prize winner or Heisman winner, something. Those goals are really stupid. I can't name you who won the Nobel Prizes last year. I doubt many people could without looking it up. Or who won the Olympics, except for the few, big ones that that get advertised and get all the commercials. And then 10 years from now, would you remember them? How many people remember Dorothy Hamill now? That's not in my generation. I mean, really. But how many remember their grandmothers that encouraged them? I'm a grandmother. And I think it's a very lofty goal that if my kids, when I'm long gone, my kids are telling their grandkids about me. And my grandkids are talking to their kids about me. And it's all positive, I hope. Mostly positive. Those are noble goals. I'm not out to change the world except for the world I'm in right here, my little part of it. And I think if people would focus more on that, that we'd see greater changes all over the world, you know? Anyway, you get to choose, because it's not really definitive whether you evolved from monkeys or God designed you. So you really get to choose as the main character in your life. You get to decide how you're going to live that life. As an evolved monkey, a de-evolved human, or as the best person you can be.